Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with another LEGO Star Wars Classic review. And today I am doing it on the Ultimate, the Death Star, set number 10188, ages 14 plus. Comes with 3,803 pieces and is still retailing for £275 or $400, and I believe it's €350, but I'm not sure on that. So then, here we have the best-selling LEGO Star Wars set, and possibly the best-selling LEGO set of all time, the Death Star. And you can still buy it now, even though it's a 2008 set. Although, I would hurry, because it's meant to be retired at the end of 2015. So, if you want to purchase it, I'd recommend saving up now. But if you are going to, it is definitely well worth it. Everything about this is, well, it's just a great set. I mean, of course, this is the largest creation in the Star Wars universe, the Death Star, capable of destroying planets. And everything about this set is just massive, really. I mean, of course, the set itself, the scale is massive, the price of it was massive, the amount of figures you get, the pieces, the build time. This took me 12.5 hours. That is pretty extensive, considering the Sandcrawler only took 6.5. So, there you go. But it was well worth it. I mean, if you've got the time and patience, and really, also if you've got family members, because this is one of the best sets ever where you can build it as a family. It's just, everything about this set is brilliant. I'm going to try and get through this review fairly quickly. However, obviously it's going to be quite some time. Just the figures will be some time, but hopefully we'll try to get through those fairly quickly as well. Also bear in mind, of course, that this is a 2008 set, so perhaps some of these have been improved, but it is just so awesome. I couldn't let this go without reviewing it. Of course, the Let's Build I do is down in the description. Please do go check that out. And yeah, really, so let's just get into this set to do my biggest and definitely one of my best reviews of all time. Alright, so first up, to start this minifigure wave, if you will, we have, of course, Luke Skywalker. This is actually one of the very few sets, if not the only set ever, to come with multiple figures of the same character within the same set. What I mean by that is you get 3 different Lukes within this set. You, of course, get the standard Episode 4 and Episode 5 Luke, and you get the Stormtrooper Luke, you know, in Episode 4, where they wore the Stormtrooper disguises, and you get the Jedi Knight Episode 6 Luke. You also get another Han Solo, and yeah. But anyway, so let's just go on to this one then. So yes, we have had newer versions which are improved on printing. Although, for 2008, this really was not bad. It came with leg printing, which is pretty detailed. In fact, I would say they haven't really changed it since then. The torso printing is also pretty detailed. Since that point, we've had different face and hair. Now, actually, I've got to be honest, I kind of prefer this hair and this face. Because the new one, by the way, if you don't know, is kind of more frizzy. You can check out other reviews I've done if you want to see that. But I kind of prefer this. I mean, it doesn't have back printing, but again, it is turn 8. But anyway, so yeah, it's a really cool minifigure. I mean, you know, it is really, really nice, actually. And I'm liking a lot of this. Even though the face is pretty simple and the hair is, you know, nothing you haven't seen before as such, it's still actually really nice. And before this set, Luke was kind of rare. I mean, we got him maybe in a lot of the older sets, but really wasn't incredibly common, generally just because they were into the Clone Wars and the prequels and so much for a lot of, obviously, the LEGO Star Wars period. But, yeah, so it's really cool, of course, and of course, we can have a set without Luke Skywalker. So, yeah, he's a really nice minifigure, and very nice for 2008, so a very good addition. Now, let's just, I guess, move on to the other Luke Skywalkers. Alright, so this Luke Skywalker, then, is exactly the same as the other one, other than, of course, the fact that he's in the Stormtrooper armor. The face and hair is exactly the same. There's literally no difference. Of course, there shouldn't be, but even so. He comes with the blaster. Actually, funny enough, this is one thing you may notice with other figures. The normal figure, like normal Leia, normal Han, normal Luke, do not come with blasters, whereas some versions of them do. For example, this version of Luke comes with the blaster, whereas the normal one didn't. That's not really a complaint, I guess, but it's just sort of something I want to point out. But yeah, so he's got exactly the same Stormtrooper gear. He's got the helmet we have seen before, you know, that was around back in that time. And the face and hair printing exactly the same as the other Luke. So let's just move on then to the last Luke, the Jedi Knight version. So the last variant we have then is Jedi Knight Luke from Episode 6. This, of course, goes with the final duel, which, by the way, is a summer set will be coming out later this year. I'm definitely getting that. That looks awesome. But anyway, so, yeah, this is a very nice minifigure. We haven't really seen this guy many times before, but before this set, at least. We have seen him now in the Desert Skiff, and I think one other set since that point. But before this, we only saw him, like, some of the really older, like, little play sets we'd seen this particular Luke. So it's very nice to get him again. I think he looks really cool. No back printing. He's got the slightly different hair mold as opposed to the other two, but the face is exactly the same. But he's a very cool minifigure. I definitely like him. He definitely looks like a Jedi Knight. Very nice. You also notice, by the way, he's got his black hand as opposed to that flesh hand, because of course Darth Vader cut it off, and his green lightsaber. But yeah, so he's a pretty rare minifigure. I mean, if you don't have like the Desert Skiff and other things, I guess this is a good place to get him, but obviously I wouldn't recommend buying this entire set just for him. But even so, he is a very nice addition. I'm glad we got different variants of Luke rather than just one solid version, because, you know, it really is a play set, this thing. That's why technically it's not a UCS set. It's really much more of a play set, you know. So it is good for adults and kids, and that's probably why it's sold so well. So yeah, but anyway, so that's basically it into the Lukes, if you will. Let's just now go on to his sister, Leia Organa. Alright, so here we have Leia Organa of Alderaan, which is, of course, Luke's sister. And actually, Alderaan was, well, the only known planet to be destroyed by either of the Death Stars. Other than that, they never really destroyed that many planets, despite the fact that was what was known for. But even so, yeah, she's pretty cool. Now, I may be wrong, but her face printing looks slightly different. I mean, not, you know, massively different, but just like the eyes look a bit more black, if you will, and the lips look a bit more sort of, they stand out a bit more than just what we saw back in like turn 8. I may be wrong, just a little thing I noticed. They seem to really stand out, her face printing, even though it's not that detailed. But yeah, we have seen her before in other sets. If you've got an original trilogy set, you may very well have her. She's not particularly uncommon. But yeah, so pretty cool. Nothing too special, however. Now, you only get one variant of her, whereas Luke, you obviously had 3 different ones, but because of, in all 3 films, she basically wears the exact same outfit, or similar to it. Nothing too special, I guess, especially in the Death Star. So, but even so, that is Leia Organa. Pretty cool minifigure. Obviously, I expected them to add her. I expected them to add everyone from the crew, because how could you not? But yeah, so pretty cool, I guess. Let's just move on to now everyone's favourite character. Well, most people, I guess. Han Solo. Alright, so here we have Han Solo, Captain of the Millennium Falcon, of course. Now, again, as with many of these figures, we have had new, better versions. For example, in the A-Wing in 2013, we got him with better torso printing, and we have had better face printing and stuff. But for turn 8, it was alright, I guess. I think it was pretty much the same. I mean, some of these minifigures, by the way, even though they seem old now, some of these minifigures are pretty, like, new and exclusive for this set. But I don't think he was. I think he had been seen before in other sets. No back printing, unfortunately, but even so. But yeah, he's a pretty cool minifigure, actually. You know? He doesn't come with a weapon, even though the Stormtrooper version of him does. But, you know. Pretty cool minifigure. Nothing too special there, and again, I obviously expected him. And apparently Harrison Ford will be returning in Episode 7. Even though he seems to be injured a lot of the time, is what I've heard in the news, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, but that's basically Han Solo, a very cool minifigure. A lot of people's favourite character, along with like Boba Fett and Darth Maul, or Darth Vader, you know, all these different things. Leave down in the comments your favourite character from the original trilogy, and yeah, I'm not sure what mine is, but even so. So yeah, let's just now go into Stormtrooper Han Solo then. Alright, next up then we have Stormtrooper Han Solo. I mean, the exact same Luke, basically, you know, with the Stormtrooper armor and everything. The only difference is, of course, the head and the hair, which is the exact same as the first variant. This one comes with the rifle, and his helmet just falls off the stand, but, you know, whatever. We've all seen Stormtroopers' heads, or helmets. He comes with a rifle, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we've seen, you know, this sort of thing before. Nothing too special, you know. If you have a Stormtrooper, and if you have Han Solo, you can recreate this figure, because, of course, it's just a Stormtrooper with Han Solo's head. So, yeah, but it's still pretty cool, I guess. I guess I kind of wish the other guys came with weapons as well, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, I think this is now going to his co-pilot, which is, of course, Chewbacca. So moving now on to Chewbacca, the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon. You actually get a pair of handcuffs here, because in Episode 4, if you know really anything about Star Wars, you'll know that they tried to get into the detention center by pretending they captured him. You actually get a spare one of these in a spare piece. You get like a ton of spare pieces, which is understandable for a set of this size. And one spare piece is an extra pair of handcuffs, which is kind of odd, because you only ever need one, but even so. It's funny how he gets handcuffs and a crossbow, so, yeah, but even so. And of course, again, we have seen better versions of him, like in the Droid Gunship in 2014, but at the time, he was pretty standard, we'd seen before, pretty cool, I guess, nothing too special, and again, obviously, I would expect him to be in the set, because I would expect the entire crew to be in this set. But yeah, he's pretty cool, I guess. Nothing too special. We have seen before, though. It's cool he comes with a crossbow. He doesn't actually come with a crossbow that often these days, or at least he didn't, you know. But nonetheless, he's still pretty cool. And yeah, Rich, I think it's going to just move swiftly on to Ben Kenobi. Alright, so now moving on to Ben Kenobi, who is, I suppose, the only Jedi in the set, other than, like, Luke, Jedi Knight. But yeah, so of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi in the originals is Ben Kenobi, if you know anything about Star Wars, but anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure if this minifigure was new. I mean, we'd seen Ben Kenobi in other sets before this, but I think a lot of the printing here was pretty new. We have seen this guy again in the Land Speeder, which came in 2010. But for Gen 8, this guy, like, the printing and stuff was actually pretty good. Taking off his hood and seeing that printing there, he doesn't come on your back printing. I'm sorry if you can't see it because of the glare. There's nothing I can really do about that. It's just, well, this can sound very racist, but to be honest with you, his head is just too white. So, yeah. But anyway, so the torso printing is then new, as well as, I think, the face, you know, and it really portrays him. I really do like this. Now, I may be completely wrong, by the way. I didn't actually do any research, but I do believe this is new for the Death Star, even though, of course, now it has been improved in other sets. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He comes with a blue lightsaber, of course. And of course, he is fighting Darth Vader. I'm glad they added him. So, yeah, really, that's Ben Kenobi, a very cool minifigure. I'm not going to say my favourite of this set, but he is very cool nonetheless. And of course, in Turn 8, he was a very good minifigure to have. But yeah, really, so I think let's now just move swiftly on to the astromechs and the droids portion. We're starting off with R2-D2. Right then, so starting off with R2-D2. Now actually, you may think, oh well, nothing too special, we've seen R2-D2 in like 1,000 different sets. In actual fact, he is the most reoccurring figure of all, like, minifigures actually. I think the Battle Droid is the second most, but I do know for a fact that he is the most reoccurring. And you may think, oh, well, it's just another R2-D2. Well, believe it or not, back in Turn 8, this was the first time we ever got him with this head printing. Now, again, of course, we have had improved versions since that point. But even so, back then, it was pretty cool. Because until then, we'd only had the same R2-D2, like the very first version of him, with the very basic printing. But now we've got this cool version. In fact, in some other Turn 8 sets, they still came with the basic head. So it's pretty cool that we get a new head for this exclusive set, which, of course, is more accurate. But, of course, we got a new one that's even more accurate, but even so. But yeah, so he's pretty cool, I guess. Nothing too special, of course, though we have seen him before, you know. Torso printing, head printing, it's all pretty good, I guess. We tend to get a lot of the new exclusive figures, like new variants with the UCS larger sets, you know. So that's pretty cool. Probably just more an incentive to buy them. But yeah, so he's pretty cool. Actually, we do get a, I like to call him a dark R2, but in actual fact, his ID number is R2Q5, who's basically the Imperial astromech droid, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so really that's basically R2. Let's just move now swiftly on to R2Q5. Alright, so here we have R2Q5, or as I like to call him, Dark R2D2, just because he's the Imperial version, basically. Now, of course, we have seen this sort of droid before. I think we saw him in other sets before this, although I'm not sure on that. I know we, of course, seen him in other sets after this, many, but this may be the first set we ever saw, like, a Dark astromech droid. We saw astromechs in, like, red and green, but I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check later on. But even so, he is pretty cool. I guess we have seen him before, though. I have reviewed him before. So he's got the exact same printing, other than the fact, of course, the colours are different. Like there's a lot of bronze and dark grey. Very nice. I want to see an astromech with back printing one day. I know it's a really minor thing. It's like, what would you put there? But I don't know. Just a little added detail to give like a 3D look to him. But even so, he's pretty cool, I guess. I guess I'm glad they added him. Might as well. You know, there's a ton of figures, so yeah. But yeah, he's pretty cool, and it's good to know sometimes that R2-D2 and C-3PO aren't the only droids in the galaxy. Like there are other versions of their type. Like there are other astromech droids, and some of them work for the Empire. You know, some of them are bad guys, I guess. So yeah, but even so, that is it to R2Q5. Now let's move on to no one's favourite character, apart from one person which I know, C-3PO. Alright, so here we have C-3PO. For some reason the camera seems to show him up as slightly more shiny than he actually is. The actual version, by the way, is slightly darker, although nothing too special. I'm not sure if the Chrome version of him had come out yet, like as a May the 4th exclusive. Or was it May the 4th? I'm not sure when it came out. But even so, now again, we have had improved versions of him since this version, but even so, he is pretty cool, I guess. Back in the day, back in Turn 8, he was actually pretty rare. We did not see him in that many sets whatsoever. I mean, maybe a few older sets, but to be honest with you, I never got C-3PO until like 2010 or maybe later. You know, he was a pretty rare minifigure just because, to be honest with you, there aren't many sets they can put him in because, well, he wasn't in very many vehicles. Generally, that was R2-D2, and he wasn't really in that many scenes that LEGO would make. So, yeah, even though you see him quite a lot, he wasn't really in any moments where LEGO would make a scene out of it. That's why he's pretty rare, but even so, he's pretty cool, I guess. Again, we have had improved versions, but even so, he's pretty cool to get in this set, as you expect, you know, as a member of the crew. There was actually one person who I know on YouTube whose favourite character is C-3PO, and that's, yeah, he's very much alone in that. Leave down in the description again, or comments, who was your favourite original trilogy character. I don't think it's going to be C-3PO, but who knows? Maybe it is. But anyway, yeah, so that's basically it to C-3PO. And just like R2-D2, we get like a dark version of him, which is just called a Protocol Droid, unfortunately. But even so, let's go on the Imperial version of C-3PO. So next up we have Protocol Droid, is what he's named on the box. Unfortunately, he doesn't have an actual ID number like C-3PO does. But, you know, whatever. I think this is the only ever time we've ever got a black C-3PO, an Imperial C-3PO. I may be wrong in that, but I do not recall seeing him anywhere else. I mean, we have had red and blue, white versions of him in different sets, but I don't think we've had a black one. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I may very well be wrong. But I just, yeah, really. So I think the printing is actually very nice. Of course, it is exactly the same as C-3PO, other than the fact it's a different colour. But even so, it is very nice, actually. I love the way, like, the dark grey sort of blends in with the black. I think it actually goes very well. He does look like a very Imperial droid. And to be honest with you, I've just got an idea, you know, of making, like, you know, this funny stop motion of C-3PO and him fighting about something. I don't know. Because, of course, in the comics, if you didn't know, C-3PO at one point was, well, he had a gun and was a bit of a badass. But we won't go into that right now. So yeah, we have a Protocol Droid then. I'm glad they added him. They've never added him before or since, to my knowledge, but he's still really, really cool. I mean, not worth getting the entire set for, but still a really cool minifigure. I would definitely add him to my collection of Protocol Droids, even though him and C-3PO are the ones I have, but whatever. But yeah, really, so that's it for the Protocol Droid. Let's now just move on to my personal favourite minifigure of the set, the Emperor. Alright, so next up we have Emperor Palpatine, or just the Emperor, whatever you want to call him. He's a very cool minifigure, of course. He's my favourite minifigure of the set, even though, well, actually, no, he still is pretty rare. In fact, even to this day, because, I mean, we got him in the Dark Side book, which has kind of made him a lot less rare, because, of course, it's not that expensive, and, you know, stuff like that. But even so, I still consider him pretty rare, and I think he's pretty cool, actually. He comes with the lightning, of course, which is very, very nice. And, of course, he sits in the throne room, which I'll show you in a minute, in the final duel. The torso printing is pretty cool, I guess. Nothing too special. The face printing is very nice. You can really see, like, the wrinkles and how much, you know, evil he is. I mean, I think he's just the ultimate villain. I genuinely cannot think of a villain more threatening than the Emperor. It's just the way, like, you know, you have General Grievous and other villains that kind of just dwarf their opponents. But he is just like... yeah, there's just something about him that makes him such a bad villain, you know, it's really cool, actually, and, you know, he's a very good character. And, of course, he's a very good minifigure as well, and there's nothing really I can complain about him. So, yeah, and, of course, I'm really, really glad they added him. If they're going to add him in the set, you got to add him in the Death Star, come on, it's his creation. But yeah, so it's Charles Palpatine then, a very, very cool minifigure. I'm very glad they added him, even though he's not as rare as he used to be, but even so... but let's now just move on to his apprentice of sorts, who ends up, well, killing him. Spoiler alert. Let's go on to Darth Maul. Okay, sorry, just to reiterate my last point, I meant Darth Vader, not Darth Maul, my bad. But even so, Darth Vader is, well, come on, he's the most famous character in the entire Star Wars universe. I mean, everyone knows who Darth Vader is. Even if you've never watched Star Wars, you know who Darth Vader is and why he's a bad guy. Or, you know, what I mean. But anyway, so, actually we do get new printing with him. I mean, again, since Turn 8, we have had new versions of him. In fact, actually later this year, we'll get a new version with a new helmet, which is questionable, but we'll go into that later. But anyway, so he's a very cool minifigure, and of course, I would very much expect him to be in the set because it's Darth Vader, and actually you get his TIE Advanced. It is a very small version of it, but I will show you that later on. Taking off his helmet, then you can see the scars on his face. So pretty cool. Of course, he's all in black, just to show how evil he is. Very, very cool. Of course, one of the greatest, one of the most iconic villains in the entire film industry. You know, if you think of villains, then you think of Darth Vader. It's the one, the only. So yeah, but yeah, that's basically Darth Vader. Then we have seen before that the torso is new in this particular version, but I think everything else is exactly the same. But even so, it's really cool to get them, of course, and that's what I'm talking about with these UCS sets. You tend to get a lot of characters with improved things, you know, just because it's a larger set, and you think, okay, now's a good time to improve it. But anyway, so, yeah, now let's just move on to a actually very rare minifigure. I didn't think it was that rare until I realised he's only ever come in, like, 2 other sets. And that is Grand Moff Tarkin. Alright, so next up we have Grand Moff Tarkin. Now, I know he's coming in the Imperial Star Destroyer, which I also have, but I don't know if he's coming in anything else. I think he might have, like, years and years ago, but I don't think he's coming anything since that point either. So in actual fact, this is a very rare minifigure. But of course, it was great that they added him to this set, because of course, you know, this is, well, spoiler alert, this is where he meets his demise for the first Death Star, when it ends up being, you know, taken down by the rebels. So, yeah, here you go. But anyway, so he is a very cool character then. We actually saw him in the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels at points, so he gets around, Grand Moff. But yeah, he's very cool. Again, he did come in Turn 6 Star Destroyer, and maybe one other set, I can't be sure. I'm not that knowledgeable on like any set before Turn 5 or something, but other than that, it's pretty cool, I guess. So he's a very cool minifigure. I really like him. I'm glad they added him. But really there's nothing as much to say about him. I mean, I really need to bring out a new improved version of him. It's not that this version is bad, but it is from Turn 8. He doesn't have any leg printing or back printing. The face is kind of basic, and the hair leaves something to be desired. So, you know, I think it's time for an improved version of Chancellor Palpatine. Sorry, not Chancellor. Grand Moff Tarkin. Especially with Star Wars Rebels, you know, him appearing, you know, new versions. But even so, that is Grand Moff Tarkin, very cool minifigure. And now let's just move on to the Royal Guards. And next up we have the Royal Guards. We actually get 2 of them within this set. Since Turn 8, we have seen them a number of times. For example, we saw them in the 2014 Battle Pack. They did have different pikes then, which actually I think are more accurate. I'm not 100% sure. I can't quite remember. I think it might be accurate more in the Expand universe, but I can't remember. And also we got in the 2015 Battle Pack, except they were shadow people then. I still don't know really why, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, he's pretty cool. Back in the day, they were pretty rare as well. We also saw them in the Turn 6 Imperial Star Destroyer, and I think we also saw them in a few older sets from like Turn 2 or something. But he is pretty cool, I guess. He kind of reminds me of like a ninja, like with the helmet and things. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the Inquisitor's helmet. You know, these sort of helmets with like the slit in the middle, which is pretty cool, I guess. You know, it comes with the standard spear, as we've seen before. Nothing too special here. It comes with black hands, all the stuff we've seen before. It's all good. Yeah, that's basically it then to the Royal Guard. Let's now just move on to the Imperial Officers. And next up we have the Imperial Officers. I personally think this guy looks very cool. I'm not sure if this is the first time we ever saw him, or specifically saw this helmet/hat thing. I don't know. I just picture helmets as going around the entire head, so I wouldn't really call it a helmet, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we got the Imperial Officer. You get 2 of them in this set as well. One of them has a weapon, one of them doesn't for some reason. I guess one of them is meant to like command a station of some sort. Since that point, we have seen these Imperial Officers a few times after this, but I'm not sure we saw them any times before it. So this might be another minifigure that first came out with this set. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So that is really cool. He gets a standard head, you know, with a lot of rebels and other Imperial officers. And the torso is also pretty standard. No leg printing and no back printing. But pretty cool, I guess. Again, you do get 2 of them in this set, which is pretty nice. Although, to be honest with you, this set is so massive. It has so many different features that even with this, incredible massive figures, you know, really that's not even enough. You don't fill up all the spaces by even nearly, but even so, You still get a ton, and these Imperial officers are really cool. So let's move on to, well, one of the last proper minifigures of the set, I guess, and that is, of course, these Stormtroopers. Alright, so then on to the well, not really the last minifigure, but like the last proper one, I would say, which are these Stormtroopers. You get 2 of them as well in the set, and actually when I first saw the set, I thought to myself, oh, only 2 Stormtroopers? Really? For the Death Star? Come on, we need more than that. You get more than that in the battle pack. Because bear in mind, Turn 8, you also got the Stormtrooper battle pack that year, so it's like, really? You know, come on, it's the Death Star. But look at the rest other minifigures you get, and the Incredible Mass, I would understand why they only gave you 2, because they gave you so many others, so, yeah, but even so. And of course, you know, back in that year, you could have got a ton of that battle pack and added your extra Stormtroopers to the set, which is very nice. But yeah, so he's a pretty standard Stormtrooper. He comes with a weapon. As I said, you get 2 of them. He comes with a black head underneath. I don't really know why they had to change it, but they did. But yeah, of course, we have had improved versions, because I mean, that Turn 8 battle pack was like one of the best, if not the best, Imperial battle pack until the 2015 one, which just, well, it just trumps it. I'm sorry, but like, just got better better Stormtroopers, not clones, and a better set. But even so, it is still some pretty cool, you know, things to get these guys. Pretty nice, but we have seen them before. Pretty cool. You may have a few of these lying around already. So yeah, but he's pretty nice, I guess. You know, you only get 2 of them, as I said, but I understand why they only give us 2. But yeah, really, so that's basically the Stormtroopers. Now let's just move on to the last type of minifigures, one of which being Assassin Droid, although I would definitely not call it that, but whatever, let's just move on to the last ones right now. Alright, so moving on to the last one, we have the Assassin's Droid. I would definitely not call it an Assassin's Droid. I mean, of course, in the Superstar Droid, we get IG-88, who, like, is this type of mole, is built this way, but he's very much a different colour, and, well, just everything about him is basically different, really. The only similarity is the pieces. In fact, he does look like an Assassin's Droid, but just the colour, the white and all that stuff, really does not make him look like it. It looks like more of a maintenance droid, similar to the Protocol droids. So, yeah, I would definitely not call him an Assassin's Droid then, but apparently that's what the box called him, so, I don't know. But anyway, so he's pretty cool. Of course, if you don't have an Assassin's Droid, I think they've come in a few sets before. They came in a battle pack, they came in the Superstar Droid, and they came in the Banana Assault gunship thing. But if you don't get any of those sets or whatever, you don't have them, then I think you can actually make your own, really, from like just a battle droid's body and some pieces up here. It's really not that hard. But even so, he's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, I didn't think, obviously, he was incredibly essential to the set. You don't really ever see him in Star Wars in the Death Star. I think it's more just one of those extra things. It's like, oh yeah, they're running about. Sometimes you just don't see them. But even so, I guess I'm not going to complain that we got him, you know. Nothing bad about it. It's just I wish they'd come up with a better name than Assassin's Droid, because it's not really Assassin's Droid. You know, that's not the class. That's not what they're called as such. It's just, yeah. But anyway, so that's basically into the droid. Pretty basic. Nothing too special we have seen before. I said a lot about a lot of these figures, haven't I? I've said that we've seen them before in a lot of these figures, but whatever. Let's just now go on to the last one, which aren't really figures, but even so, they're pretty cool to add. And then we'll go on to the set itself. Alright then, so one of the last ones we have here is the Interrogation Droid, which I would not call a minifigure, but I mean, it's there. Basically, this is the Interrogation Droid that belongs in the prison cell, which you can't see, but it's just on that level. Which he obviously interrogates Princess Leia when she's captured. Yeah. You see like 2 seconds of screen time, but it looks pretty menacing actually. But even so, you got the needle of sorts there. It's kind of like a camera. Of course, in the actual film, it doesn't have this stand. It's just there for, you know, decoration, if you will, to try and make it stand up. It does hover. But yeah, it's extremely basic build. You can make it if you want to. It's really nothing special in any way, but it is really cool, I guess. I'm glad they added it, but I'm not sure whether to call it a minifigure or just sort of part of the set, because it kind of is meant to be just stuck on the set. But I don't know. It's still pretty cool anyway. I'm glad they added it. And let's just move on to one of the last ones. I guess, you know, I would call it a minifigure, because I just think it's too awesome to not. Alright, let's move on to the last one, which is the Mouse Droid. Alright, so then the last one then is the Mouse Droid, of course. You have seen this guy before. You may have him. I remember we recently got him in some set. I can't remember which one, though. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, he's pretty cool. We've seen him before, and we will be seeing him again. Wow, I really have said we've seen him before in a lot of sets, haven't I? But anyway, so yeah, he's really cool. I really like him. He's definitely one of my favourite droids after like R2-D2 and some other droids, I don't know. But, you know, him and the Gonk droid, like some of my favourite droids for some reason, I don't know. I don't really know what they do. I think they escort the Stormtroopers throughout the Death Star, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe they just clean the floors or something, but I don't know. Anyway, so that is basically into the mouse droid, one of the best little droids, I guess, of all droids, despite the fact it's really small, and really no one knows what it does, but I just really, really love it. And I think that's more or less it. I mean, there is the last kind of minifigure thing, and a little crate, which I'll show you right now, but then we'll just move on to the set itself. Alright, so the last little not minifigure, and it's not little, but the thing we have is the Dianoga, which belongs in the garbage compactor, or if you're in Britain, the rubbish compactor, but even so. And it grabs Luke's legs. We don't see it that long, but I'm glad they added it as well. Very nice. It's a pretty cool little build. Some of the pieces here are pretty rare. You may not see them on like Star Wars type sets, because you don't really see them in more like the sets where you get a lot of animals. For example, the new Jurassic World set will be coming out soon. You may get more of these pieces, but even so, he's pretty cool. He's pretty large, I guess. I mean, comparing him to like R2-D2, he is, you know, of some size. He's a little buildable thing, so it's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, really, that's basically the Dianoga. I think that's basically the minifigures. I'm not sure if you would call this a minifigure, but even so, I'm just going to show you then the little crate that comes. I'm not sure really what it is, but even so, I'll show it to you now. And then we will get on to the set, which is epic. But yeah, so that's basically your Dianoga. Very nice little thing. I'm glad they added it. You know, not really that long a build whatsoever, less than 2 minutes. But yeah, let's go on to the little crate then, and then we'll go on to the set. Alright, so just to show you this little crate, which really has nothing to do with anything. It's just a little, I don't know even what it is. It's just, I don't know. It's just a little build, I guess. Just one of those things you add. I'm actually going to hold it because I'm afraid it might fall. But, yeah, so it comes with these wheels, which are incredibly easy to move. There's just, like, no friction there whatsoever. It can easily be held by minifigures on either end. And it can open up very simply. And inside, you've got a control panel and a blaster. One of those old blasters, which is kind of like a microphone. So that's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, that's more or less it then. That is it to every minifigure plus the crate. A lot of them are really cool. Leave down your favourite down in the comments if you have it, I guess. And I really love Chance Palpatine. A lot of these are really cool. Yeah. But anyway, that is it then to the minifigures. An incredible overload. Already we're like 35 minutes in, maybe more. I'm not even sure. But even so, let's now just go on to the set itself, which is really, really, really epic. Alright then, so finally we're done with the minifigures after like half an hour going through them. I mean, this has, unbelievable. But anyway, now we can finally go into the set, which hopefully will be a little quicker. But, you know, we'll see. It has a lot of features, a lot of components, just a lot of different things. I suppose we'll have to go through right now. Alright, so now we're going to start off the first section in this above part here. Of course, each layer is into 4 different compartments, so we're going to have to try and get through this quickly. So up here, the first level then was entire bag 7, if you're curious. And this particular section really isn't really much here compared to other sections. It's mainly just for the main super laser, which you can see a bit of right here. So you've got this little station here. I mean, I'm not going to put the minifigures in right now because it would take far too long, but even so. This doesn't control anything, it's just basically the exact same as this one, except this does control something. A guy can sit there, he's pretty happy. These are printed, by the way, we've seen these sort of things before. Pretty cool, I guess. You can swivel, just, you know, for the sake of whatever. So you can sit there, that's pretty cool. Moving on to this one. Actually, no, we're going to move here first. This is the little computer screen that Tarkin was watching, you know, when he was advancing on Alderaan as well as Yavin 4 to destroy the rebels. I know you can't see it quite like this, but it can fold down. I assume that's so you can take it out. Although, of course, you can just slide it out with it in, so I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, this is a sticker. This is, of course, the time when they're going to advance on Yavin 4 and when they're going to blow it up, basically. Or the moon, I don't know. Anyway, and that's Alderaan, the only planet Death Star ever destroyed, technically. It's unfortunate, but oh well. And it just simply slides in here, very simple, that folds up, and you can sort of see it there as well. Which is pretty cool, little computer screen, or TV. But anyway, so yeah, this is a sticker as well. You get a lot of these exact same things going right down the entirety of the base, or not base, but you know what I mean. But yeah, really, and this, oh yeah, I didn't show you. this controls the cannon. You can see it moving. If I try to zoom out, that's how far it can move. It can't move any more than that. Also, if you turn it, it can go up and down, which is very nice. I'll show you how the mechanism works when we get down to the second level, but nonetheless, that is pretty cool. Very nice little function there. I'm very glad I added it rather than just having a stationary sort of dish. But yeah, really, that is more or less it in this section. Not really that detailed. It just sort of is mainly for this control, which is pretty cool. Even though you do get a space for minifigures down there as well as up here. You know, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically it in this section. Let's just move on to the next one. Alright, so on to the next section then. This section is also pretty basic. You just got a number of chairs. So you've got 7 chairs. I think there were probably more in the actual thing. Of course, this is the famous scene we saw in episode 4 with a lot of the admirals, including Admiral, what's his name? Oh, the one in the Clone Wars. I can't remember his name right now. But we saw the guy in white in the background. He was the Admiral, the main guy in the Clone Wars, Anakin's Admiral. But, Admiral Yularen, that's it. But anyway, this was a little Star Wars trivia. So the chairs, there's really nothing too special here. Just some detail, you know, the kind of throne room. This lifts off. I don't know why. I don't know if I built this wrong or something. But it lifts up extremely freely. I don't know if it's meant to, maybe it is, but yeah, it's more or less a decoration detail there, really. It is pretty cool. You know, you don't get enough admirals to put them there, but if you've got other sets with admirals and officers, then you can probably put them there as well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's more or less at the section. Let's just keep moving around, going on to the cannons, not the main super cannon, but these cannons over here, moving on to the next section. Alright, so the next section then we just have these cannons, which of course we saw shooting down the TIE fighters in the battle over the Death Star. These are pretty cool. As you see, they work in unison, like they move in unison. Now I'm moving them with like actually holding them, but you can move them with this little lever there. See, swivel them, and they're just, you know, there's a mechanism underneath. If you really want to, you can disconnect them so you can move them independently, but you know, whatever you want. So that's pretty cool. Also, on each one you get a knob on the side which lifts them both up. Of course, it's the same for both. Nothing really more here as well. It's just the cannons. Pretty cool, actually. I do like these cannons. I think they are pretty accurate. I mean, of course, the actual ones are considerably larger, but, you know, even so, I think these ones do look really cool, and they are a really good representation of the cannons we saw in Star Wars. You know, I actually do really like these. I think they're really cool. But yeah, really, that's more or less it then to these cannons. Again, there's more or less the only bit here. The top part of, like, this Death Star is more partially for decorations and more just for functions as well. It's really the second level where you see the proper scenes, you know, and all that stuff. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically the cannons. Let's move on to the last section of this top layer right now. Then, so on to the last quarter of this top section. We actually have quite a lot here. I would say this is the areas where we have the most out of this entire place. Now, of course, I don't have them on right now, but these are little hooks where you put the Stormtrooper helmets. This is actually meant to be apparently a sort of torture chamber type thing for the droids, where you'd put a droid, you know, standing up like that, similar to Darth Vader's creation chamber. And, well, I don't know, I guess they're tortured in some way. I mean, it reminds me very much of Jabba's sail barge, you know, they had that torture sort of area for droids on there. But, yeah, that's also maybe where they repair them. I'm not sure whether they torture them or repair them, you know, either way. But anyway, so you get a little chair here for the maintenance person. Nothing really too special. I mean, got some stuff here. It's pretty cool. You got a little crate. I'd say the main thing really is if you see this knob here. It actually has, what was it? I think 2 strings in here. So yeah. But anyway, so this knob, as you can see, controls the lift. That thing right there. It's not, well, it is a lift in the way that obviously it would lower you down, but it's, I mean, it's not contained in any way. Like, there's no fencing to stop anyone from falling off. I guess it's just sort of, yeah, so you do have to put the minifigures on there rather than just sort of, you know, dropping them, if you know what I mean. You can't see that from that angle, sorry. It's hard to show you. But, anyway, turn this knob then. Turning it clockwise, it goes down. And of course, it goes down to the very bottom. You know, it goes like the entire thing, which is pretty cool. Turning it, and going to come back up. Pretty simple, what you'd expect. But yeah, I really like it. There is actually another lift, which definitely is nowhere near as tall, and I actually really like this feature of having a lift. You know, it is a really nice feature actually, and it goes through the entire thing. You can actually see it going down through the entire thing, and I will show you more in detail later on when it comes out. It does take quite some time to bring it fully up and fully down, but, you know, there you go. Also, I recommend if you're going to build it, you know, be careful with this bit, because you build this lift right at the end when you're, like, at the top, and if you accidentally drop it, it's a pain to get it back up if you haven't connected it properly, and it's, trust me, just, yeah. But anyway, so that's more or less it then to the top section. Oh, no, wait, sorry, I forgot to show one feature. It was actually hidden under this rack, of sorts. You see a knob. This turns, you can actually see down below, you got Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, like a mini version, and it turns the thing. There isn't really a massive function to this, like there isn't a massive reason, rather. I guess more to sort of position him as he flies off, you know, think if he wants to fly in this direction or that direction, but, you know, it's just a little cool thing which I kind of like. Of course, I'll show you this more in detail in a minute. But yeah, that's basically it in the exact section. That's more or less it to the top layer. I think now let's just move on to the next layer, which is of course the absolute main layer where all the stuff is happening. Alright, so now moving on to the middle part. First of all, we're going to start with this section, which of course has the super laser, the cannon, the main focus of the Death Star. So you're going to have to bear in mind, it is going to be pretty dark in here. There's nothing really I can do about that. I've tried to put my lights in such a position to show you the best way, but I'm really all I can do now is actually give a torch view. Nothing I can really do elsewhere, but trying to zoom in then. You see you've got some control panels there, which is pretty cool. There aren't any seats, it's just you just sort of position them on that plate there. Pretty nice. You've got some detailing around, very, very nice. You can kind of see there of how it moves. Swivels on that, that's pretty cool. Pretty nice actually. It's actually pretty accurate, because in the actual thing they didn't really have that many fences. That was kind of one of the complaints, that, you know, they were sort of standing right next to where the super laser was firing. But even so, try and move the super laser across then. If I try to, this is very difficult, bear in mind. But you see here, you've also got another station which goes to the other room, which is over there, by the way. But this one is pretty cool. Then this, if you see, you can't see. Okay, we'll have to do that. All right, so this is very difficult. Okay, this knob turns that door effectively. It's a pretty simple mechanism. You can actually see that white thing coming out there. See, that's just basically connected to the door. I think you can probably guess how that works. Turns all the way around, goes into that section. It's pretty simple, very nice. Now we see a lot of mocks, you know, door sliding, and of course you've got a ladder here. Very cool. Got some more windows, got some more control panels, and of course they can sit up there as well. Just giving you a quick look of the technique behind the super laser. Very nice, very nice. You can see it all goes up there and into that section, which is pretty cool. But yeah, basically, I think that's more or less it's the super laser. Just having a quick look at the actual thing itself. This actually took more time to build than you may think. I mean, of course, there's no real features, but I mean, I just point out these things, if you haven't realised, are fairly delicate. I mean, of course, if you pring them, you know, they do go flying, so you have to try and avoid that. But even so, it, of course, looks very, very cool, very nice. And of course, a slight problem is it looks a bit odd if you position these things slightly wrong. They're not fully on centre, because it looks kind of weird. But even so, it did take a little amount of time, a little more time than I thought it would for something like this. But nonetheless, it did come out very well, and I think it is a very good representation of the super laser. So that's very cool. But I think it's more or less it then to this section. You got a few lights up there you can see, but you know, that's all very cool. You got some detailing on the door. Most of you can't see, I appreciate, but even so. But that's more or less it then to this section. Let's now just move on to the next section, which is the prison cell. So the next section then, of course, is the prison cell where Princess Leia was held. Very nice. You can see an incredible amount of black pieces you got here. Now, you really cannot make that out, but that is a sticker. Oh, that's actually come out pretty well, more than I thought it would. But anyway, so that is a sticker back there, and I think it actually comes out incredibly nicely. In fact, if anything, the camera doesn't really do it justice. In actual fact, it looks pretty, you know, you really may not be able to tell from the untrained eye, and of course, you know, looking at the set 3D, you can tell it doesn't literally go down that far, but it does actually blend in pretty well, I've got to say. You got there's a lot of stickers here. Of course, that is a sticker, and there's some stickers going around. You can see there, by the way, if you can sort of twist it to show you. Okay, that is a grate, and that is the grate they're meant to blast. I mean, yeah, technically in the actual film it is on the other side, like it's on this side, but who cares? And so they blast it, that falls down, you can see this knob here. Many knobs, but anyway, I'm not going to say that again. Anyway, okay, so you can't really see the hole, but there is a hole, and it falls down, and I'm not going to show you right now, but it does fall into the garbage compactor, and you see it falls down there, they fall down there, that's pretty nice. But anyway, sticking with the prison cell, we got some control panels down here. I can't really show you because of course the other side, but just bear in mind the control panels, you know, all that stuff, pretty cool. You got a panel there, it's pretty nice, and if you notice, we have got yet another knob. So, this one, what does this turn? Can you see that? That turns more or less the door to the, I mean, it's difficult to show you, but that's the door to the cell, and of course it is meant to open like that, like slide upwards, but, you know, Lego can only do so much, so, it turns up like so. There's a massive hole in the roof, and I'm not sure what that's about. I mean, I'll have to show you inside in a minute, but I'm not really sure why there has to be a massive hole in the roof, which isn't filled in any way. I mean, they could have, I don't know, done something. I guess that's probably just make it easier to put the figures in, but they could have made the roof detachable. But yeah, so there you go, then that is basically what it is to the prison cell. Just give you a brief glimpse. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. It has a camera up here. It actually has multiple cameras which they shoot. And this is a camera that comes folding out, which is pretty cool. It's attached by a pretty simple, you know, a moving mechanism. Pretty nice. Pretty, you know, really loose. Nothing really to do about that. But yeah, that's more or less it. The prison cell, very nice representation. And I've got to say, a lot of this stuff, for a play set, for something that came out of 8, a lot of this stuff really does resemble it very nicely. And of course, none of this is nearly accurate at all. But even so, it is seriously a good representation, despite the fact it's a play set. And I'll just give a brief glimpse in there, and then we'll go on to the next room. Alright, so here we are with the overview. As I said before, it's complete open area, and this knob turns that. I'm afraid the camera is off a tripod, but there's just no other way I can do this. To try and show you within there, looks pretty nice. You've got the cell door there, which can come off. I suppose it's meant to come off. Of course, the actual thing, I'm not sure this really happened, but let's say it did. It simply pops off. See? And there it is on the table. And I can see in there, pretty nice detail, I guess. And again, this is the door, that knob turning. Pretty cool, I guess. And the interrogation droid who interrogates Leia is in there as well. But yeah, really, that's more or less it then to the prison cell. Nothing really more to say. Let's just now move on to the next section. So here we are with the next section. I've got to say, this section has to be one of my favourites. It is absolutely awesome. I love everything about this. And that's right, we're getting a larger version of this later this year with the 2015 summer line. We're getting Palpatine's, or Chancellor, the Emperor's throne room, that's what it's called. And I will be getting that set because it looks really, really awesome. And just the smaller version, which is this, looks amazing. By the way, you can actually see a gap there. Where the lift also can come down, you know, and you see it go down. If I can just do this quickly, you see there, it is falling down, and it goes past, etc. But even so, moving on the chair does swivel fully, of course. You've got in the background there, you know, I think, I don't have to show you, you've got in the background the tie sort of window, which is pretty nice. You got here some pretty cool detailing. These aren't printed in any way. They're just, you know, brick built, but they are still really, really cool. I'm not 100% sure what they were, but they still look really, really cool. Really epic. We've just got a lot of detail, really. You of course got the stairs going down. You got the sort of bridge. Of course, the actual bridge was considerably larger, or longer rather, where Darth Vader lost his hand. Still very cool. You got this, which I'm not 100% sure what it is. It's, well, it just basically falls down more or less. I mean, what you do, you push it, and it's very, you know, easy to pull down. I'm not really sure whether it's some sort of platform. Maybe that's the thing that Darth Vader throws his lightsaber at, like Luke's on, and it makes him fall down. Family Guy made a funny joke about that, actually, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Anyway, so, yeah, more or less. It really, this part is just about a lot of detail. By the way, you can see here as well, this controls the cannons on top. So that's a very nice feature, and you got the same stickers as you saw up there. You get a lot of those in this set. But a lot of this is very cool then. I truly love this section. Even though it doesn't really have that many features as such, it's still, I just love it for the detail, you know, because of course it's one of the best, well, no, actually no, I'm going to say it was the most iconic scene from any of the Death Star scenes, which is saying something, because a lot of good stuff happened in the Death Star. But even so, it is really, really cool then. This scene is just, it's just so epic. I'm so glad they included it. And just, it's so great. But anyway, that is more than it then. Let's just go on to the last scene from this section, which is of course the one with Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Alright, so now the last scene we have of course Darth Vader's TIE Advanced at the hangar bay. This is pretty cool. You got, unlike the other sections, this one is basically completely black, not tiles, what are they, plates, you know, rather than just the light bluish grey, you know, it's alright, it goes very well with it. These are all stickers going along. I got the feeling though they're meant to go the other way, surely, because I mean, if the TIE Fighter is coming out this way, should the arrows be pointing that way, but no, it is right, but even so. Alright, so as I was showing you up there before, you know, you had the droid torture chamber where you twist the knob and it twists around Darth Vader's thing. If you take it out, it's not connected in any way, it literally just hangs there. You can see how it hangs. It simply twists very easily. There's really, you know, there's no friction in any way. But anyway, having a little look then, if I can try and zoom out. I get thinking it would be distracting and keep swimming. But anyway, so, of course, this is the very mini version. We actually did get another Channel 8 TIE Advanced, Darth Vader's, that is. And that's actually pretty cool. I never got it, but it looked really cool. Not many people liked it, but I did. But anyway, so this also looks pretty cool. It actually does have space for a minifigure. Not much space granted, but even so. So you can sit in there. I mean, I think you may have to take off Darth Vader's cape if you want him to fit that well, but technically speaking, you can't see out because it's got a black thing on the front of the window, so you can't see out, but whatever. It's still, despite the fact it's not that big, you know, it's a decent representation. Looks pretty cool. It doesn't really do anything, of course. These flaps do move, but they're not really meant to. And then they fall off the thing. But even so, let's just move on then to the actual part of it. So this is the main feature. When you get a few canisters that don't have anything inside, you see the other side of the window from the Palpatine's throne room area. You got the same door which I tried to show you before, the first bit with the laser cannon you see there. And I was trying to show you about this thing that, you know, slides along. There you go. Of course, you can only do it, by the way, from the other side. Like, that's why I'm trying to funnel around with the knob right here. Because there is nothing on this side so you can do it. And you can actually see here, there's a large gap in the floor. Now, I don't think we ever saw it, well, no, we saw it very briefly in the films, but it was more in the actual games. Like, if you got any sort of the original Trinity games, where you see a lot more stormtroopers who would appear, if I can do it, on this. This is a little platform. This is what we're talking about the other lift. Of course, it's nowhere near the same sort of size or scale of the one that goes through the entire Death Star, but it's still a little lift. I'll show you that more when we get into the lower section of how that all works, but suffice to say, that's a little lift that appears, which is pretty cool, I guess. I love all this thing, though. It just looks, I think it looks so great. You know, it really does capture the, well, no. To be honest with you, this wasn't really ever seen. I mean, we didn't, yeah, of course, we did see Darth Vader's TIE, but we never saw it really coming out. Or at least, you know, not any more than like 2 seconds. But even so it just simply rests like so. There we go. Near enough. But anyway, so yeah, that's more as it into this section. It's still really cool section. By the way, there's a sticker behind there on that. Oh, you can't see. But on that thing, that tube, you get a lot of those as well. But even so, there's a ton of stickers as you expect. But even so, that's more or less it then to that. I think let's now move on. I think we've done all the main sections, or, well, the top level at least. Now let's move on to the other level, the final level, which has also some pretty cool scenes. Alright, so now moving on to the final layer we have down here. First of all, this is probably one of the smallest sections. It's not even like a quarter of the actual thing. This is a little cannon, which actually has very nice detailing. It very much reminds me of the 2013 Battle Pack. It very much reminds me of the ones we saw in the actual scenes in the Death Star when they're fighting the X-Wings. You know, you got a couple seats here for the guys. Got a lot of nice detailing all around this. This is very cool. As you can see, it spins around. Pretty cool. All this stuff, and of course you get a spring-loaded thing up here, which I'm gonna fire if it would do this for me. Bombs away. Yeah, and there it goes, and you lose it. But even so. So this is really cool then. It does very much capture it, but it's a small section. It's just sort of one of the things they added. I really enjoy it though, of course. I'm glad they added it, so yeah. But let's just move on now to the next section, with the main section, which is the garbage compactor. If you're in Britain, the rubbish compactor, but it's America, so whatever. Anyway, so you've got some rubbish down here, or garbage. We'll call it garbage from now on. But anyway, so it's kind of funny actually. I was listening to a podcast while I was making the set, and one of the guys was saying, like, because he was making the set as well, he was saying about how, you know, Lego, they give you like pieces that you construct rubbish, because this technically is meant to be rubbish, and it's like you constructed it. It's just kind of weird how you are constructing the rubbish. You know, what does Lego come to? But it's actually a really good place. I haven't done it, but this is a really good place to put your spare pieces, of course, because you know, with a set of this size, of course, you're going to get a ton of spare pieces, and you do. So it's actually a great place to put them in here. You know, the Dianoga? I think, yeah, that's what it's called. Basically, the rubbish monster. It, you know, swims around and with all the guys and stuff. And as I showed you earlier before, can I show you again? Yeah, do you remember where, like, they shoot out the vent and it comes down here? Well, there you go. They literally fall down here. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, and it does crush. And you see this. Oops, no, you can't see that. Okay, you see this knob up here. Well, geez, there's a lot of good things here, but anyway. Alright, so you push it in, and they crush. Simply, do the same thing again. Come out, crush. There you go. Now, it's not technically completely accurate, just because they closed like that, rather than like that. But, you know, Lego can only do so much. So, yeah, you can see a door back there as well. Pretty cool door, I guess, as doors go. I'm not sure what they are. I think they're lights, I guess, up there. But they're still pretty cool detailing. Now, there's no mechanism behind this door. There's no knob. It's just, there's this thing on the side which you pull out and it simply just pulls the door. That's alright. Which actually, by the way, feeds into the lift. So I'm not going to do the lift thing again, but I think you can guess how it works. I mean, in the actual, of course, Star Wars, there wasn't a lift right behind this door, but let's just say there was. So there you go. So from right here, now you can get to the super laser and destroy the Death Star from the garbage chute. But anyway, so yeah, that's really cool then. I think that's actually a feature a lot of people really loved with this set, because I mean, obviously this is one of the most famous scenes within Star Wars, and I don't think it was the first ever film to ever have like this sort of a closing door thing, but I mean, you know, films really started to have it more after this film, is what I'm saying. But yeah, it's a really cool feature then, of course, a very famous feature, and I recommend, there's a lot of detail down here, by the way, as well, and I just recommend putting your spare pieces down there, because you do get a lot, and you've got these little stoppers here to stop them, of course, from falling off the edge. But yeah, that's really cool, and just put any pieces, actually, just put any pieces you find lying around, and actually it may look pretty good, so yeah. But anyways, that's more or less it then to the garbage chute. It doesn't even take up technically a quarter of this section. This bottom bit is kind of weird. Like most sections is like it's split into 4. This bottom one is like it's kind of random. But whatever. We'll just move on to the final section. Just turning it around right now. We have the shield generator. So also a pretty small section like the cannon. By the way, just showing you again, this thing here, you can't see it because it's pretty dark. But it's simply a rod with these things broken up, and that is the door. From, you know, if you remember that, simply, that's how you do it. But anyway, moving on to here, you of course have the shield generator, which need to deactivate to allow the Millennium Falcon to escape. Now, this may actually look pretty not secure at all, but it actually is, because you've got these rods here which keep it in place. So this is, you know, genuinely secure. Now, of course, what they did, I mean, it was generally larger. I mean, everything in the set, of course, was larger and real. But they would like turn up the knobs, and a pretty cool feature here. Actually, you see this blue. This is meant to be like the power feeding the main reactor. You pull this out, which is meant to symbolize obviously you pushing the thing up, which they did in the film, and it falls down. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but this thing in the bottom fell out as well. And of course, you want to put it back. So we push it up. Yeah, and something like that. You know, pretty simple. Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, walks along here and deactivates it. pretty cool. Nothing to say here. I've got to say though, actually, I just realised one scene they didn't have was Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. They had the minifigures, of course, but they have the different scenes. So that's one scene they didn't have. So, but you know, there's so many different things in this set. It's like that's understandable. But anyway, so that's more or less it then to that. Let's just move on to the following sections on the other side. Alright, so here you have a fairly large section. You have, this is the scene, of course, where Luke, who's meant to be technically like this side, but the instructions say different, whatever. Anyway, he is meant to swing across using this grappling hook, which he found on the Stormtrooper's belt. Swing across from there to another ledge. Now, technically, it says the instructions, the Stormtrooper's meant to be there. That's not really accurate. I mean, obviously, this scene was a lot larger and having a lot more platforms all over the place, but even so. So that's pretty cool. This just really attaches to anything, actually. It doesn't really attach to anything specific, just sort of put it up there. Funny enough, you get another one of these pieces. By the way, this is the piece which you got like with the Spider-Man sets. Of course, in that, it was the webbing, it was white, but it's the same piece. And that's pretty cool. You actually get a spare one of these. I was actually thinking, you know, is this meant to be somewhere? Because like, why would you give a whole nother one of these, even if you're only going to use one? But they gave you a spare one. That's pretty cool, actually. So now you get two of them. It's pretty awesome. And he swings over. This thing, I've got to be honest, is a little delicate, and it does get kind of annoying sometimes, because I mean, of course, you're not going to want to lift this too often, but sometimes when you do, you'll lift it from like the bottom platforms, and you may forget that you've got this thing here, which is very, well, very delicate, and if you try to pick it up and you try to support the entire weight on this, it's going to crack. So yeah, let's just hope that you're not like picking it up and you actually put your hand on here while it's in the air, because then things will end badly. But even so, you see down here, there's not really much going on. As I said before, these stickers continue all down, as well as that sticker. And of course, the lift stops at the bottom there. Can't really see it, but whatever. But yeah, I think that's more or less it. You got some tubing up here for more detail, but that's more or less it, really. Oh, sorry. Oh, wow, I can't believe I forgot this. But up there, you do have a couple of extra platforms then, I guess. So, technically, the Stormtroopers are meant to be shooting from here, but the instructions, they say I'm shooting from here, which is not accurate. But, yeah, so, that's, yeah. But anyway, that's still pretty cool, I guess. You know, I actually do like this section quite a bit as well. The scene was pretty cool. But yeah, that's more or less it then. I think I'll now just go on to the last section of this Death Star. Can't believe we're nearly done. It's definitely taking me long enough. I'm not sure how long this is, but it's more than an hour now, so I'm sorry about that. But let's move on to the last section now, which is more just a maintenance area, actually. So the last section, which actually takes quite a bit of the bottom level, is this maintenance area. You got a little crane here, which does turn. You got like a grappling hook of sorts right there. That's pretty cool. You know, using some of the old barnacle sort of pins and things. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Got a lot of detailing around here. Apparently, that's a chair where the guy's meant to sit and control this, although it doesn't actually spin round. I mean, I don't know what that's about. None of this crane spins. That's the position it's meant to be in. It can't turn. It's fixed in place. So I don't really know what that's about, but whatever. Anyway, also I forgot to mention before, I'm afraid, sorry about that, but if I try to turn it, that's, by the way, the cannon, which I showed you before, which fires. In the background, you've got some weapons there on a rack, which, you know, is pretty cool, actually. There's 4 there. Got a tiny little ladder there, and a larger ladder over there. You got this platform, which, as I said before, was the secondary, if you will, lift, which really has no support. I would definitely not take this lift, because it looks very unsafe. But basically, what you do, you got this another knob round here, where you turn this, oops, wrong way, and it lifts up. Hallelujah. You know, like magic. It just lifts up. Try and turn this around to show you. You got the string there, and you got the mechanism. See it going down. Yeah. So yeah, really, but that's more or less it. There's nothing too spectacular about this section. It's more just sort of maintenance. I think it's more just probably a filler section. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna remove that section and put in the scene with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. That would have been really, really cool. But you know, what are you gonna do? But anyway, yeah. So I think that's more or less it then to the Death Star. I mean, of course, you do have a tiny section under here, which actually, this bit, just from getting from here to here, took me 2 hours of building, and it looks so big. Like, when you just built that without all this other stuff on top, it looks so big, and I was like, yeah! And then I realized, oh god, I haven't even gotten to the first level yet. But anyway, so there's nothing under here. I mean, apparently people said it turns. It doesn't turn as such. It's got like those, you know, slippery sort of not studs, but you know what I mean, underneath, which kind of give the impression, but so it obviously is more smooth, but it doesn't as such turn. It's not like a lazy Susan, and I'm gonna be honest, could have incorporated that feature in some way, but even so, you got a little detail down there, but nothing too special. But anyway, that is it then to the set, this epic set. I have no idea how long this review is. I'm so sorry about that, but it was truly epic. I mean, I may have to cut this down. Who knows? This review may be in 2 parts. I may not know. But anyway, so let's just go on to the instructions, the box, and then conclude this review. Whoa. Okay, that, I'm not doing that again. I feel like that broke something. But yeah, so this instruction manual, oh snap. This is big. This scared me when I pulled it out of the box. It's like, what, I think 260 pages or so, like 160 something steps. It's, oh my god, it's actually heavy just to pick up. So yeah, it's got to bind. I've never had anything like this. I mean, the Sandcrawler was pretty big. I thought that was, you know, something, truly something. But this really takes the biscuit. I mean, something to ride with this, maybe like the UCS Millennium Falcon. You got the front cover, which is kind of, you know, it is stronger cardboard, which is always very nice. Oh gosh, I can't show you everything. I'm not going to go through step by step, but looking at the back then, we've got a lot of the features, which is, well, there's a lot of them really. You got all this. I'll be putting the minifigures in a minute. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Oh. Moving on. There isn't actually any like promotion sort of stuff. I'm not sure what this is. Seems like something important. Is this important? This is not important now. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Apparently that's strengthening cardboard right there. But, yeah. Trying to position lights and things. But anyway, so, oh gosh, from turn 8. All this stuff. So old. Wow, that's incredible. How many pages of inventory is there? Okay, there is 1. Oh, there's actually only 2 pages of inventory, but of course there's a lot of them. I mean, I don't even want to know how many like there is of certain pieces. But yeah, so 260 pages to build. Whoa, 193 steps exactly. That's pretty spectacular. That's something special. That's like, dang. But yeah, I mean, really, the whole thing about this instruction manual is just a scale. The longest parts definitely were the like tying the string and a lot of technique at the beginning. I would definitely say the number 1 bag and the number 7 bag were definitely the longest to do, with no question at all. I mean, they just took forever. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, more or less that's the instructions. Just really, it's ginormous. Of course, you've got older on. It's the exact same as the box art. You've got older on the background. But yeah, that's more or less it. Let's just now go into the box and then conclude this review. Alright then, so moving on to the box. Oh gosh. It even has boxes within boxes. I mean, okay, showing the top. First of all, you see all the minifigures up here. Yeah. The enormous range, and you see it's called an Assassin's Droid. Apparently it's not an Assassin's Droid, but the Dianoga. There's actually another vehicle in Star Wars Universe named a Dianoga, but I think that's more like expanded universe stuff. Okay. I mean, just look how thick this is. As you can understand, it's actually I actually compared it to the Sandcrawler box beforehand. It's a tiny bit thicker and a tiny bit taller. So something amazing. I cannot show you all this properly, so I'm sorry for that. But there's just no way, because I'm worried I'm going to drop this on something. I don't even know what, but I get the feeling it's going to happen. Anyway, so yep, all this pretty cool stuff. all very nice, you know how it is. It's funny how you see in that picture there are 4 stormtroopers when there are not 4 stormtroopers. I guess you've got to add your own. I mean, of course you can put the helmets on, like Luke and Han, and sort of try to get 4, but even so. Alright, so we got the boxes in here. The number 1 box is considerably thicker than other ones, but the instructions also fit in here. I'm not sure quite how they did that, because I can't remember, but even so, you've got 4 boxes like this. Put into perspective, each one of these boxes is like the size of the Wookiee gunship box, so, yeah. And that's just one of those boxes. I don't know how big this one is, jeez. But anyway, yeah, really, it was pretty extensive. Alright, if I try to fold this up, going to the front, you can see the box art with Alderaan, Lego Star Wars, all this stuff. You've got the piece counts, you got the statistics thing, oh gosh, but anyway, yeah, really. It's funny how this thing is so massive, has so many different places, that they actually had to give you 2 views of this thing, because there's just so much on both sides. It's like, obviously, being a 2D picture, you can't show it, and it's like, oh gosh, there's just so much. But anyway, yeah, so all that is really, really cool then. Oh, apparently they do have that scene. My mistake, but that's not really part of it. Apparently it's just like, I don't know, it's just sort of like a window, apparently. I'm not quite sure, but whatever, apparently they did try to incorporate that scene. I don't know. But anyway, that is it then, I guess, to the box, and that is also it to this incredibly long review. Oh my god, I've been talking way so much. But yeah, anyone who is still here, of course, please give yourself a round of applause. I strongly doubt there's anyone still here. But, I mean, that's assuming that I split this into 2 parts. I don't know quite yet. I may very well do that, assuming how long this is. But, whatever. Anyone who's still here, leave down in the comments, Death Star rules. And I'll know you're still there, alright? Because, you know, but even so, that is it then to the box and everything about the set. I think it's now time to do my conclusion to my largest and arguably my best review I have ever done on my entire channel. So here we are then in my conclusion to my review of the 2008 Death Star 10188. So, I mean, come on. Is there really any doubt? This set is completely worth the money. I mean, $400 does seem a little pricey, and well, it is, you know, by anyone's standards. It's not the sort of thing where you just buy it casually. This is definitely something you save up for and you know you want to get. But let's be honest, you know, there's a reason it's the best selling set of all time. It's just, well, everything about it is just great. I mean, it's great if you're an adult, it's great if you're a kid, you know, I mean, perhaps not building it by yourself as your kid, but it's great to do as like a, in fact, in actual fact, I think it's be a great toy for like psychiatrists, because it takes a long time to build. It's not like a 5-minute build, of course. And you always do sections, you help each other out. I mean, this is such a great build. It is no wonder it's the best-selling Lego Star Wars set, and possibly the best-selling Lego set of all time, and that's why it's still around today. So then, overall, I of course give this set a good 10 out of 10, no question. I mean, this set, come on, I really can't think of any way it could have been improved. Because that's the thing. Now, I like UCS sets as much as the next person, but in the day, after a while, they kind of get a bit useless. I mean, yeah, they're great to look at, but unless it's a really iconic vehicle, it's like, after a while, that's why I'm selling the Sandcrawler. Yeah, it's cool and everything. It is really a really cool set. But after a while, it's like, That's why I love these play sets, like the Ewok Village, because it gives you something else, something more interactive, you will. Just, you know, it's such a great set. I really can't describe. I mean, is it my favourite set? Oh, that's a difficult question. I may answer that one day, but I have to think about it before I can answer it. But even so, it is still a great set, of course, and I highly recommend to anyone to get it, regardless of how old you are. You know, if you've got a parent or a guardian who can help you with it, then absolutely ask them for it, save up for it, because it is definitely well worth the money. And yeah, really. And also, of course, this is going to go way up in value when it's retired. But even so, that is it then to my review. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, please do give it a like down below, because it really does help, really does show your support and all these different things. And of course, it shows me which ones you like and which ones you don't. Leave a comment down below as well with whatever you want. If you're still here, which I highly doubt, please, like seriously, please leave down in the comments Death Star rules, because I genuinely want to know. I mean, anyone who's still here, man, you're a trooper, all right? You are a hardcore fan, because dang. But anyway, I mean, I've seen a lot of reviews of this. They go on for like 20 minutes. This is more than an hour, probably. I don't even know by this point, but oh gosh. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you. And of course, please subscribe to my channel. I mean, right now there's a giveaway going on. It's maybe closing fairly soon, maybe by the end of this month, I'm not sure, but even so, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in another video. I don't know why I said like that. Bye, troops. I don't know, it's something about him that just makes him such a bad villain, and he falls off the thing. You got this, which I'm not sure 100% what that is. I know